Hey guys, and welcome back to UnJaded Jade. So today I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Lara.
Gabriel!
Hey, and today we are finally doing the roommate Q&A. You guys have sent us so many wonderful questions on Instagram and you're just going to get to know us a little bit more. It's been a solid 4 months and we're effectively family now. A good way to start, a lot of people have asked for just your general story.
Oh my god.
Yes. So like, I don't
Intense.
know, a 60-second or so just about each of you, how you got up to this point.
Alright, as I just said, my name is Gabriel. For the best is Gabe.
That's a nickname he's only had since Berlin.
You know who you are. I'm from a small town in Brazil called Gravataí, really close to Recife, the capital of my state. Wait, I'm feeling like this is a peach.
You're doing interviews every day, what are you talking about?
Yes, I come from a small town. My parents didn't get to finish high school, and because of that they had this huge focus on education for me. So even though I was always in public school, I was always trying my best to take advantage of the opportunities that I had there. In high school when I was 16, I always wanted to learn English. But it's quite hard to learn English in Brazil unless you're paying for a kind of expensive school. But then at that year, the government of my state created a free English program and I started learning English. Then I was chosen to go to Canada. Thought that I would never go abroad again, didn't really know much about studying university abroad. So I did great job in Brazil, studied hard, got into a Brazilian really good university. In the year and a half of that school, but I wasn't quite satisfied. Took a break to go do this volunteer work with a Christian organization in the US. Got all my savings, did crowdfunding, and while I was doing volunteer work there, I met a Brazilian guy who was studying at university, and I asked, do you have to be incredibly rich to study abroad? And he told me no. He introduced me to a great organization called Brasa. I learned a lot about studying abroad, and I found Minerva, fell in love, and here I am.
That was really
good. And you're amazing.
He is
we want to hear everything about you.
But we're gonna dig into that later. Okay, Lara.
Oh my god. Okay. Hey guys, so my name is Lara. I'm from Brazil. Oi, meus amores brasileiros. She understands everything. I lived my entire life in Saõ Paulo. I basically always knew I wanted to study abroad. My parents, I really had an emphasis in education and like learning about new cultures, new religions, studying a lot like history and art. So I was always really passionate about traveling and going abroad. And I ended up finding Minerva. Fell in love, of course, fell in love with the Minerva magic, and went to live in San Francisco, which I never imagined in my life. And in about a month, I'm going to live in South Korea, currently in Berlin. So yeah, that's basically my story. I'm studying business all over the world, meeting beautiful people like these ones. So lucky. And yeah, that's my story.
Beautiful. And I don't know how I was so lucky to get to live with these two people, but I think as we go through this video, you're gonna just see how grateful we are for this house dynamic. I don't know how it's worked so well.
It's so cheesy, I'm sorry guys.
It's so cheesy. We like every single day almost validate, just like, we love our house.
Multiple times a day actually.
Yeah,
we validate each other,
really
which is great.
One of the questions which I think is a good start is how we ended up living together.
Oh.
That's a
You
great
can start
question.
now since you didn't answer the last one.
Okay, cool. So in first year, did we know each other?
No.
Not really.
Not that much. I mean, we knew each other like peripherally. So we have coaching groups at Minerva. And they match us, get people base their desires for life, purpose and whatever. And Jade and I were in the same coaching group. And
Hashtag offended. But
we saw each other like 4 times in the entire year that we were in San Francisco.
Which is nothing, now that we say it.
nothing.
But like, I don't know, I always just thought,
Just really
similar vibe, yeah, good dynamic, but then we didn't really like know each other. And then Lara, I knew, because we were on the same floor, 9th floor, the best floor, and we were accountability partners, which basically means you're paired with a student, you have to set goals for the semester, and then you have to keep each other accountable to do these goals. But we were the worst accountability partners ever because we just ended up talking and just getting on so well. Hours. Yeah, but we kind of had different friendship circles in first year and weren't really that close. And then all of our friendship circles ended up going elsewhere in the world, staying in San Francisco, going remote or going to London. So we had to find new people to live with. How did it even happen? I don't really know. We just ended up talking in summer and we were like, let's chance it. Let's see how this dynamic works. And kind of got lucky. So that's the premise. Yeah. I think one of the first good questions to ask is for you, Gabriel. And I've had many questions like this. How does Gabriel genuinely feel about living with two women?
Amazing.
I feel like you guys can answer this because we have talked about it so many times. So like, it's not like they don't know. Like, you could probably explain it better than me. But this is not my first time living with two women actually. I grew up with my mom and my sister, so I'm quite used to living with two women, family. But then since I left home to go to college, I was always rooming with guys in Brazil, and then when I went to do volunteer work in the US, I was for a year and a half in a hallway with only guys, in a room with only guys, and then in San Francisco I spent a year in a room with two guys too. So coming out, I was just like, how is the dynamic gonna be different? Because to me that's a big thing. What different people bring out of you, we can think of gender roles and what society does to us and whatever, but we can come to this point of knowing that by this point of our lives, there is some kind of gender difference in how we relate to people. Doesn't matter which kind of influence it comes from, biological, nature, nurture, whatever. So I knew the dynamic would be slightly different. But
he loves it!
She's like, ensuring. Let's make sure. But I really like it. I think one cool thing that kind of shows this different kind of dynamic is the whole debrief dynamic.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Wait, can you put the debrief?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, the whole debrief dynamic.
Wait, explain.
I'm gonna explain it. I love my roommates in San Francisco. They're great people.
We love you guys if you're watching.
I feel like as guys, we in general don't have this thing of, oh, tell me how was your day, tell me how you felt through it.
Yeah.
But here, a lot of times we had really busy days and we did our own thing, talked to different people and whatever. And you get at the end of the night, end up going to bed super late because you tell everything to each other what happened in our day. Oh, I met this person and we talked and they're like, how did you feel about that? And I'm like, oh, let's analyze that. And I'm like, let's analyze that. Which psychological concept can we have? So we had these deep conversations about anything that just happened. And I think that's a really cool, special thing about living with women because there is more of that sense. And I think the other different thing, and this is like, is this an exclusive female trait? No. Can guys do that? Absolutely.
Please.
Is it culturally normal? Not generally. It's not generally that common.
Just so
in my
sad.
experience.
So sad.
We talk so much about toxic masculinity.
So much.
And like how men should be allowed to be more open and how that should be normal. And even with Gabriel living with two women, like from the outside how that might be perceived as less masculine or for whatever reason, having to have these deep conversations. Does that change how masculine Gabriel is?
Special shout out to Gabriel. He is such a developed person. He's so intelligent, so open, so emotional.
This is a big thing of this household. Just pivoting this into something a little bit different. How we affirmate each other. This is very common. Like the fact that we're like, and let me try my TikTok word, simping over.
Kind of not the right.
He's trying. That's better.
I am trying.
You're doing it, Gabby. You're
We need to discuss that too. The social media thing. We'll get into that.
Yes.
We are
We
like.
have to explain the whole.
I know.
We sing over each other. Like
that's good.
we affirm each other a lot.
I love it.
And I think that's really cool. And I think in general, men are not as comfortable doing that to each other. Like, they'll be like, oh, you look so pretty, or
It does look so pretty.
These
Look at these girls.
Just appreciate the work.
or I'll be like, oh wow, you just look pretty. Why do you have makeup on? Like I'm looking like trash. and it's really normal for us to be like complimenting each other, like, oh wow, that was such a good emotional response, or you know, that's a very normal thing, and I think guys could do more of that.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, we've gone all over the questions.
We talk a lot, we go all over.
And it's hard because we know each other so well, so we end up like drawing on all these things. One of the questions, which kind of comes into like prior to living together, is what did you expect it to be like living with a YouTuber? And also, what were your impressions of me before getting to know me because of the YouTube thing? And I want to hear your response because Gabriel has a lot of feelings about social media.
A lot of feelings.
And didn't really want to be my friend, and I was very offended about that, so...
I guess I'm starting then. So I was with these two social media people. The thing for me is, the big thing is like, social media in general is just a small part of reality. You know, it cannot be totally separated from reality, but it is a small part, and it is curated. So I've had a lot of difficulty just with this idea that, like, is unjaded Jade? Or is she always just this curated person who is in real life thinking about how can I present my best self or whatever. And I have to say that, not in an offensive way, and I've told her this many times, I didn't grow up listening to YouTube, so I'm not used to watching videos, so I've never watched any of her videos prior to knowing her, but a lot of people were talking, we're having a YouTuber, and you know, one worry was that, is this person gonna be real? I'm huge into vulnerability and being honest and being deep, and I was like, is she or she gonna be worried about her image with living with us? It was very different than not living with her. I think one of the first things that I learned is that it's a real job and it takes a lot of work. She puts a lot of effort into it, and I really respect that, so I think that's the first paradigm shift. And the other thing is, we always had very vulnerable conversations in the house, super honest, about how we feel, about our journeys, about so many different parts of our identity. So I think those deep conversations helped me break a lot of that image of she can't be real or she isn't real. She's a curated person. No, she's actually just, you know, actually someone super willing to be vulnerable, to let go of any, you know, image that people might have and whatever. So I think in that way it was just a good experience in general, as it could be with anyone else.
What did you expect as someone who's a social media
guys. Not at all. For me, so I always knew we would match really well. I always knew that. That's why I invited her to be my roommate for Berlin.
Oh, she invited me.
Wow.
Oh, so lucky.
No, it was a mutual thing, but we knew, I think we both knew that we were gonna match really well, because in the first year we didn't have the opportunity to spend time together, but I knew her, I knew her energy and everything, so now living with her, it just confirmed how real she is. I think it's really important because people don't get to see her fans or followers or people who admire her, don't get to see her real self, but she is exactly what she portrays in social media, and I think that's really important to highlight, because we discuss this all the time, we are really positive people and really in love with life and in love with each other and in love with even when we're going through tough things, we're still happy people and dance all around and play songs. And she is that person in social media, which is exactly who she is in real life. So I knew living with a YouTuber would be totally okay, because I like social media. I think it's such a powerful tool of raising awareness, and the brand that Jade has created is such a positive, energetic, inspired, and she's going through all the difficulties that she puts online, and she's super vulnerable, and so all the difficulties of doing so much work and studying so much and also always being on top of it, that's her daily life, guys. She wakes up at 5 in the morning, works all day, films, then goes to bed at 12. We all do that, but she specifically with social media does a lot of work, and so behind the camera she's exactly who she is online. So I knew I wanted to be with her and spend time with her, because she's the same person. It doesn't change anything.
I think a special thing to mention is that we had a lot of conversations about social media throughout the semester.
That's so true.
About how it has impacted Jade growing up, how it has impacted her relationships, what we think of it, and what psychology says of it, and how do you think society is going in general because of it. And I think those conversations happen a lot because we can take this and not make it necessarily a personal thing about Jade.
Yeah.
This is way bigger. This is not really only about Jade, this is about a whole social phenomenon. So we have a lot of conversations about that. And I think that was really cool too, to see from her perspective, what does she think, how it has impacted her, her friends who grew up doing that. And I thought in general that was also really cool for our relationship itself.
And social media is such a powerful tool. We discuss this all the time. We're all like, believe in social media and the power to spread awareness and goodness in the world. And so we see social media all the time, people portraying like not what their lives are actually about, and Jade is super vulnerable, so that's a very interesting discussion in our house.
Okay, I think we need to get a little bit fun, and a bit of like tea,
Ooh,
and just a bit of banter.
We love that.
Banter.
Like, have you ever had a crush on your roommates?
Oh my gosh, so many times.
Every day.
Every day.
I wake up, I look at Lara asleep, and I'm like,
Gorgeous.
I have such a crush on her. And then Gabriel, every day, I'm like, the curls.
They are always super like hardworking, ambitious, driven, like these successful women who also look really good every single day. How can't you have a crush on them?
Good answer.
Boom.
How would you describe the dynamic in your group in one word? Hype up. Hype. Hype.
Happy? That's so cheesy.
I'd say bubbly.
Bubbly.
Very
That's a
bubbly.
good
Most of
one.
the time
That's
bubbly.
a good one.
Bubbly's a good one.
Have you ever argued intensely about something?
Oh, we have.
I think the conversation about can you be sexy for yourself?
Oh, that was
That
an
was
interesting
That was
one.
interesting.
That
It
was
was
interesting.
intense.
Yeah.
But it's not aggressive. It's like it's
No,
like
not
aggressive,
at
just
all.
intensely.
Just like, intense, like we all have opinions.
Yes.
All say your top 3 values.
Oh my god.
We did this so many times, Jade and I, in our coaching group. I think 3 things that come to my mind is community, spirituality. That's very hard.
That's really hard.
That's
It's really
expected.
hard. Love is a top one, like love of life, love of learning, love of people, optimism, gratitude, and connection. I'd say those are like the 4 that come to mind.
That's amazing. I think they all incorporate many things into one, but for me I think it is family. Family, not just like blood family, but also like friends, people that I love, everything, so family. Happiness about everything, like happy about life, happy about people, happy about the universe, and also it includes also like optimism and enjoyment of life. And third, knowledge. It incorporates wisdom, studying, passionate about meeting new people and learning about them, about different cultures, religion, languages. No one can take what you know about the world and about life and about yourself, but everything else can be taken from you. And I just think that's a superpower, the most important superpower a person can have.
Beautiful. Mine are 4 too.
Like notion.
Yes.
The fact that he has a notion with his values says a lot about this household.
Community, and I think that embraces all communities, going from family to friendship and everything in between. That's a big thing for me. And I also said spirituality. I have huge faith, and I love the idea that we're connected by something bigger. And I think justice is a huge thing, and that englobes social justice, that englobes environmental justice, and everything that's in there. And I think the 4th thing is boldness, and the idea of taking risks to go forward.
Ooh, interesting.
Really interesting.
How does that play into your daily life, boldness?
Boldness. So, for example, coming to Berlin, we all were kind of uprooted from a lot of our friends. Most of our class is not here, like, I think a third of our class is here. And I also really wanted to feel connected to the city, so I took upon myself to meet strangers. And I met a bunch of strangers throughout the semesters, and most of them it was like, we went out for coffee or we went out to have lunch once, and that was it, and it was fun and good. But I made a really cool friend that we met throughout the entire semester, and it was actually hard saying goodbye. I'm like, But I think that's one small thing. And when I think of boldness, for example, it doesn't have to be something huge. There is no pressure. I think that the whole idea of you have to be always challenging yourself is overrated. Sometimes you actually just need to find comfort and support and go for it. And that's bold true in a society where everyone is questioning themselves. Trying to think of these small things that are important and to push yourself. Because meeting strangers is uncomfortable most of the time. It's kind of awkward.
Which actually, there's been many questions about Bumble and like dating life at Minerva and just how we feel about the fact we're moving, and I think that's just an interesting topic.
Yeah, definitely.
I think like high level, Minerva's a really bad place to be if you want a love life, to date, to meet people, because you do so in the knowledge that you're moving in 4 months. So it's like trying to make any kind of real connection in the city feels finite. And that's bittersweet because you can build these relationships, you can develop it can be deep, and you know there's like this end date and that you might not be going back, and that's really tough.
At the other side, if you date a Minervan, you have to be super careful in how you take it. Because if you break up, then you have to live with that. And then, you know, like, it's a lot of people need and prefer to process a breakup being apart, not having to see this person. That's impossible in our community most of the times. So you are between this choice of, okay, do I want to date these people and having this high risk of you know, changing the dynamics of my friendships, or do I want to get connected with people in the city, put a lot of effort into it, and then leave?
We're teenagers, right? Everyone is going through thousands of things. We're all doing, like, working so much and being far from our family and trying to create this deep relationship, not just with boyfriend and girlfriends, but also with friends. So I think my advice would be just be open to meeting people.
Mom Lara gives her advice.
Mom?
Lara,
Nice to meet you guys. And I'm the youngest, but I'm the mom, yes.
I think
I'm offended.
I'm definitely the mom.
Does that mean I'm your child?
Yes.
I think I'm your mom.
No, I'm sorry.
Father Gabriel.
Both my children.
What did you say there?
I don't
Who's the mother?
Let's get real here. Do Minervas go on Tinder, Bumble,
100%.
all these other things? Yes. It really depends on your take.
Also, this was all of our first semester trying Bumble. Was
Yes.
that true? Yeah.
Yes.
We all done
I
like
would
a
never
Bumble,
have done
just
it
if you're
not
wondering.
for them too.
True.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Just
I think we all went in at least one date, and it was
varying degrees of success.
we all enjoyed it. I think
it was great. Meeting new people.
It's always an experience. But let's put a really great shameless plug here. Romantic relationships are overrated.
Oh!
Please, just put some boom kind of thing here.
Overrated.
And this is something that I think as we move around we learn a lot. It's great to have a romantic life. We love thinking about those things and getting involved. But we need deep connections, and they don't need to necessarily come from friendships. And I think in this semester I use Bumble BFF. Hi Bumble, sponsor me. Bumble BFF is a category where you meet with people for friendship purposes. And I went in a lot more dates like that because I wanted to put more effort into friendships than actually romantic relationships. And it worked quite well, and it's such a good experience to be able to connect with someone without some of the other pressures that a normal date can have. So yes, don't feel bad if you're not dating. Invest in friendships.
For me, my takeaway would be actually put yourself first. I tend to put everyone else before myself in everything that I do in life. And so knowing, like, respect yourself. If people, like, don't seek approval or love from other people, you need to be happy for yourself. You want to go out get ice cream? Go by yourself. That's what I do every single day. I go get my coffee, I walk around, I meet people in coffee shops. The most beautiful type of love is self-love, specifically the T. So Bumble, Tinder, all these apps, there is kind of a specific focus why people go on these apps, and it's not the focus that I necessarily want. And so for me it was like, it's not that I ignored everyone, but I ignored everyone in these apps because I know my priorities and I know what I want if I'm interested in a romantic relationship. And I know that's not what I wanted, so I just didn't didn't put effort in it, because I think it's important to prioritize what you want, and you don't have to waste time with men and women who don't appreciate you as you deserve.
Boom! Like, no, safety tips in how to use dating apps.
Oh, that's cute.
That's good.
Like, we always had these safety tips with each other.
That's really good.
I think the first step before the only dating app is know what you want from it.
Yes.
Yes.
Why are you here?
Yes.
Yes.
Be very clear about that, because a lot of people there have very clear intentions that might not be yours, and it's good to be upfront.
You can even put it in your bio.
Yeah, I honestly.
Like, no hookups only. Like, no hookups.
Exactly.
If you can say that, that's really okay.
Honestly, had on my bio, not interested in sex, because that's not what I was looking for, and that's totally fine. You just have to be clear about what you're looking for. And that's the first safety thing, because then if people want different things than you, they're going.
Also, I think our generation, likes to play games or be like difficult or do all these things over text.
So much energy. And for safety reasons, for men, but specifically for women. Make it clear of your intentions, make it clear what you want, because that's how healthy relationships are built upon. Like trust and communication. Even if you don't know the people, just make it clear, because then it's better. You're the one who's gonna have a successful result out of it, I guess.
Yeah.
I also think coming back to before you even download it, questioning why am I here, what do I want?
Yes.
Is also a really good reality check for, am I just really lonely? Yes. Am I just seeking someone to validate me right now, approval in some way? And I think sadly, if that is the reason, you often settle for less, you know?
Definitely.
You're more prone to just sort of like getting anyone who might not be like up to the standard that you should be looking for, that you deserve. And like, that's okay, like we don't judge, but I think knowing why you're there and sort of the state that you feel in, like self-love wise, is really...
Yeah. Like, how does this align with what I want right now and you know, what I'm going through? And I think that's the biggest thing. The other thing is like, talk about that with people. I think there's some kind of stigma. Depending on the circle you are, there isn't. Depending on the circle you are, you might feel like, oh, the only dating apps is such a like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. Do talk about that with people, because especially about this thing of settling for less, your friends can be really good about spotting that.
That's totally
so
true.
people
can normalize stuff. You do.
Yeah. If you're feeling lonely, or if you actually, if you're questioning, oh, how pretty am I? You know, because you're going through this. You're how do you call this? Swiping. On so many people, like, oh my gosh, everybody's hot here.
They don't want to match with me. And then you start questioning your photos. Oh, am I just not good looking enough for people here?
Start settling for less. But your friends can give you the reality check and be like,
you're freaking incredible.
You're incredible. You don't need to be talking to this person just because they're giving attention. You don't need to do anything for them that they're making you feel like you need to. Like, that will help.
Also, totally important. It's okay to feel lonely. It's okay seeking validation. It's okay to wanting to be like appreciated by others. We all are. That's the nature of human beings. Wanting to be appreciated, feel loved.
Especially now in lockdown. When you don't even have human connections nowadays.
So it's totally important. And you should just put yourself first and recognize, okay, I am feeling lonely and I'm interested in having a relationship. If that's your goal, go for it. Just remember to put yourself first and be safe. Most of all in these dating apps. Because, okay, so going back to the rules of dating apps, make sure you meet them in like first time. You're trying public space.
Totally public.
Let people know your
Bars,
location.
restaurants, ice cream shops. Like, there's so many places to meet people.
So true. Always during the day. Always during the day.
Always during the day.
Always tell your friends who the person is.
Send them their location. We all send our locations when we go out with people that we don't know.
Back in the day when we actually met people pre-lockdown, there's not really much.
The first 2 weeks I was here.
First 2 weeks.
Yeah, actually yes.
That's
why I was on one Bumble. Let me actually make a small plug here for our dear introverted watching.
Yes.
We're all extroverted.
Clearly.
So to us it's also like, okay, meeting people is exciting.
Yes.
We love it. We got energy out of it.
Yes.
But I think something that I've learned here is that relationships take time. So if you're introverted and you're like, oh, but I don't have that's okay. You can invest in a few people, in one person, in two person. Just take your time and do it consistently over a period of time. Because that's how you develop friendships. It takes time.
Even culturally, so like you guys culturally, meet people and love people.
Yeah.
I think even regardless of being an introvert or an extrovert, you are so like naturally warm. Every Brazilian I've met has this like warmth towards people that I do think is a Brazilian thing.
Yeah.
Okay, this one has been asked by so many people.
Okay.
What are your favourite things about each other? Rapid fire 3 questions.
Okay.
Because
it's a lot.
cultural differences between Germany and Brazil.
Brazilians are very indirect, Germans are very direct, boom, 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 boom. German is all about efficiency. So sometimes I feel efficiency over people or over whatever. Brazilian are like, okay, let's make sure everyone is understood, that the context is clear, that everyone feels accepted, whatever. And that might compromise efficiency.
Yeah.
Go to deeper conversations quickly, or open all our life.
And compliment.
We
compliment each other, people so much, and German people are so uncomfortable.
Compliments as easily.
People don't take, and they're so uncomfortable when we compliment everyone.
Yeah, that's something I learned to be careful because they can be taken as flirting.
Yeah, people think we're flirting with everyone. We're genuinely not. We just love people.
We don't flirt with anyone. Unfortunately.
No, dead love lines.
Dead love lines.
What are words or phrases that each of us say a lot?
Oh.
No context.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, why is Gabriel so cute?
Oh. Because he is.
Does Jade talk in her sleep?
Guys, Jade talks in Dutch in her sleep.
I don't even know Dutch.
She laughs.
Me consciously.
Can I say? She talks in Dutch. How fucking cool is that?
How does my brain know Dutch?
How cool is that she talks in Dutch in her sleep? Bilingual people are so cool. I'm bilingual, okay? People who speak different languages who are bilingual in their sleep, it's so cool.
Spanish plug. If you have good Spanish resources, leave them in the comments.
Oh, he's looking for a girlfriend who speaks Spanish.
Oh, he is.
If anyone wants to sign up.
I am in a huge Latin America phase.
Or Spain.
Spain.
Spain gets into that too because they unfortunately colonizers. So yes, I'm in love with Spain, Spanish, Latin America. Recommend me podcasts, video channels,
or recommend a girlfriend.
PDFs, anything. Sure. Open.
Oh, the biggest cultural difference between us when sharing a house. I mean, I know mine.
You
go yours.
I think it's the commitment thing.
Oh yeah.
Can I say that?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So I think in the UK or even in Germany, I've learned when you say you're gonna do something, generally, like, you do it. I feel like your word has like quite a lot of meaning. I think it comes into the punctuality of the culture. Like, oh, I'm gonna go shopping at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And if you say you're gonna go shopping at 10 a.m, you just kind of do it. You know, like you put it in your calendar or you plan your life in your head around like waking up to go for 10 a.m. That's apparently not really the same in Brazil.
Can you Brazilians support me, please? It's nothing. Like I would say, okay, let's wake up tomorrow early and let's go run.
But so passionately, she'd be like, Jade, tomorrow we're gonna wake up super early. We're gonna wake up at 6 a.m. We're gonna go for a run. We're gonna do yoga. And I'm like, literally getting on, so on board. Like, yeah, let's do it. Let's wake up. And then it gets to the morning.
I'm sleeping. My Brazilians, please support me here. When I say like, okay, see you in an hour, does it mean an hour?
I think that was just an interesting cultural difference to learn the difference of word. Is there anything final you want to say? What about all the Brazilians watching?
Oh, let's teach her Portuguese. I want her to say something cute.
Claro, she knows claro. She also knows how to say hi pretty.
Oi linda!
To the Brazilians listening, that's incredible that you found Jade. I'm like, wow, that's so interesting.
We love you guys.
So happy that you guys are here. I think one of the big things for my dear people of Recife, Pernambuco, go find those opportunities. There is so much out there. It's not easy for everyone. I think meritocracy is bullshit most of the time because we don't start out from the same place. But wrestle with what you have. You might not have the same opportunities that everyone in the world has, but you have some. I'm sure you have some opportunities where you are, and go for them. Go for them, and from there build on. It's, you know, a lot of our dreams seems like totally impossible. Thought it was impossible to study abroad. I'm here in visiting my 4th country. Yeah, coming from a family where my parents could never pay for this. So fight it. Look for the opportunities that you have around you and go for it.
Boom.
Boom.
just believe in yourself and do what you want. If you love art, or if you love CS, or if you love history, go for what you're passionate about. You're gonna meet people, beautiful people all in the way, and you're gonna grow, and you're gonna learn, and you're gonna like just enjoy life and go for it. Go for what you want.
And I feel like I have enough takeaways on this channel that I don't need to give one. These people, I feel like if I would, like, you could literally just do my channel for me. You could do my channel for me. I feel like we're just so aligned, and that has been so beautiful. And this is our final moment together, and it's been a luxury.
It's incredible, and this chat just got so deep.
I know,
but it's okay.
We just like, we started here, and we're like,
we had really few banter questions because everything
everything, even the Bumble one.
That's us.
That's really us.
Beautiful.